Hey Aki, I want to show you something amazing. My wife's breasts. I recently had a conversation with a young brother. I just met him, so he's a complete stranger. He considers himself a liberal Muslim, the moderate type the Western world loves. The conversation began with a simple question about going to the beach. Is it halal or not? But quickly it became a conversation about something else. He asked if it was halal or not to enjoy the sun, the sand, and the water. The answer, of course, is yes. Everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, we can enjoy. But we have to recognize that everything we can experience and enjoy has limits. Some examples, we can eat all kinds of things, but we can't eat all things. We can enjoy intimacy with our spouses, but we have limits on what intimate acts we can perform. We can get married, but we can't marry everyone. I'll get back to the story later in the video. For now, I just want to mention a few things. Many of the problems we face today as a community stem from environmental conditioning, especially those that come from the modern liberal and conservative attitudes. As Muslims, in terms of worldly view, we identify more with conservative beliefs. However, modern-day conservative behavior lacks a very crucial component, which is adab, the manners and etiquette of interaction with the broader society. Many modern conservatives tend to embrace the worst qualities of humanity: bigotry, racism, hubris, nationalism, and the results of the attitudes is to oppress others in the worst ways imaginable. It usually begins under the protections of freedom of speech. It is a protected right, but is also the first step in a long walk of oppression and suppression of the rights of others. There is, however, a clear distinction between conservative belief and their inconsistent practice of that belief. Good ideas, poorly implemented. The nice thing about conservative lack of adab is that it's blatant and it's apparent, which makes it easy to replace with something far better: the behaviors and practices of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is what we call the sunnah. Liberal attitudes, however, as appealing as they are, can be far more dangerous to a Muslim than those of the conservative persuasion. Liberal attitudes are the Pandora's box of the modern world. Once open, it can't be shut. For the semantically addicted out there, yes, I know it's not a box, but Pandora's box rolls off the tongue much more betterer than Pandora's pithos. Know what I'm saying? Because liberal attitudes extend to anything and everything, we have no limits. Without limits, we can create any justification for almost anything. The conservatives do just about everything as well. They just don't really bother with justification. They generally just ignore what they claim to believe and go beyond the limits of that belief through inconsistent behavior and practices of double standards. They don't practice what they preach, not consistently anyway. As Muslims, we'll find that we can take aspects of both the liberal and conservative beliefs of society and find a happy medium. We take aspects of the liberal attitudes of tolerance and generally non-oppressive attitude, with limits of course, and we'll find that we're more in line with conservative beliefs. We find the middle balance, but a balance based on the Quran and the Prophet's example, not based on what we see around us in movies and in television, and especially not what we see in the behavior and attitudes of others. Liberalism is not something to be admired as a whole. It does have some promising qualities in terms of general civil attitude, but unfortunately because of the belief that we must love everyone and everything, anyone can do whatever they want as long as it doesn't harm others, we end up turning a blind eye to the reality of life and so much of the harm that occurs. Islam, by the way, has a solution to this issue. We get around the problem of harm in a simple way. If you choose to be overly liberal in your home, that's between you and Allah. But if you do it in public and it creates problems, there's billions of people on the planet and it's impossible to have an agreement on anything. So in public, we have limits. In Western secular society, we do have limits. It's just that the liberal mindset is to find ways to push beyond those limits while subtly and forcefully convincing others to accept those new boundaries. We got to find the balance, folks. Remember to comment, like, share, subscribe, and support us on Patreon if you want to see more videos. Also, check out the video description for more information on the video and how you can contact me on various social media. Now, it is a little bit of clickbait, but if you want to hear the story of how a liberal Muslim offered to show me his wife's breasts, you got to watch part 2 when I publish it. For now, stay safe. Salam, peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.